Welcome to another episode of High Proof Ashes. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason JB Smoke, and over to my left this time,
I'm Duran. No cool nickname. Y'all know what it is. Back in one of our favorite spots,
absolutely.
Ocoee Cigar Lounge.
Yeah, man, love it.
Special episode today, though.
Yeah,
we got a guest.
Special guest. Special guest.
Yeah.
Got two specials. I like that.
Yeah. So we might as well introduce him, right?
Yeah, man.
So Luke is one of our homies from the lounge here, the Fight Club, as we like to call it. He is definitely a member. We've been rocking for a little over, I want to say, 2 years at this point. That sounds about right. When I met Luke, he was not smoking cigars at all. So he was an introduction from a friend, and now he has become a friend. And we are so happy to have him on the podcast. Luke, say what's up to the folks, man.
What's going on, everybody? I'm excited to be here. Couldn't sleep last night. Like
Really?
Christmas.
We are not that cool.
Hey, y'all cool in my book, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
nuts.
But yeah, so this one's gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of chill, kick back, and do the thing.
Let the conversation go where it goes. That's what we do.
I got some prepared questions. He don't know that, but I do. I got some prepared questions.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll get on those in a little bit. But first, Luke picked the cigar that we're going to have today. So, Luke, why don't you tell the folks what we're going to smoke today?
This Micallef. I don't know if it's an actual name for it, but it's got an A. I always said Micallef A. And it's probably one of my favorite sticks right now, just because with my budget, it's not like y'all budget. So, $10 for me for this, is right there, rocking Jordan. And just
And not break the bank, right?
Yeah, feel like I'm, dang, I'm gonna eat tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
So, like I said, somebody put me onto it last year.
Okay.
And we didn't have it, and then they had it at Cynic City.
Okay.
And every time I go to Cynic City, I always get a couple of them.
And so now we're privileged.
Now we got them here, so it's like
Home Lounge has them.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
And I think it's interesting to me that they call this an A, because normally an A is really long.
Yeah.
It's like a normal.
No Diddy. All of that.
Shut up, makes you funny.
Welcome home.
I mean, I didn't go 5 minutes, y'all.
I thought it ain't my podcast. So
But it's so this one's short and fat, and normally an A is long and skinny. So take that how you will over there. I know I'm giving you all kinds of
Yo,
material.
like,
you're not helping the situation.
Why?
You
You might as well be sitting with a bottle of baby oil.
Right.
Oh man, I did it on purpose. I was waiting for y'all to go do something wild with that.
I'm gonna leave the Diddy content alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm sure everybody else is doing it.
But anyway, yeah. So Micallef is a relatively affordable brand in the cigar world, which I think is really great. We don't have enough of them that actually taste good.
I agree.
Duran, you have not had this cigar yet. This specific one. You've had some Micallefs though, right?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever tried the brand whatsoever.
Okay.
So like I told you when we were getting them, it's going to be a completely new experience for me. So I'll be able to give you my honest opinion and review of it. I can tell you, I can start right off the bat. I don't get much on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of aroma.
There's not a lot of aroma.
But, that doesn't always mean.
No, it doesn't mean
Let me
anything.
try that.
It doesn't mean anything. Just some cigars are more aromatic than others.
Yeah.
Straight out of the cellophane or on the wrapper, And so this one doesn't give me much, but I'm hoping because of this super dark wrapper that it's going to be plenty flavorful. Do we know? Is this a medium? Is it full body?
I don't think it's a full body.
I wouldn't go full, like maybe on the lower or medium
Lower
end
full,
of
high end, medium.
like kind of low medium of the full area.
Okay.
But I was just telling him before we started recording, I'm pretty sure I've had this, but I think I only had one.
Okay.
Because the Torsadores one that they have has actually become a favorite of mine.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's the same blend.
Okay.
So that's something I'll have to try to look up.
I got you. Of course, we just brought a plethora of spirits. You got all kinds of stuff down there for us to drink. So I don't know what you gonna have.
I might actually start with our bottle crack. Our fresh bottle crack.
But I think there might be more than one.
Oh, okay.
So what is your fresh bottle crack?
The 1792 sweet wheat.
All right. So the Booker's, that is 2403. It's not open.
Okay.
So if we wanted to, we could go there as well. It's high proof, so I'm not going to go that high right off the bat.
Yeah, I think the 1792 is a lower proof. It's that one there. Yeah.
And I probably, like realistically, I want to try the sweet wheat, excuse me, against the 12 year. So I think that's where I'm going to start.
I like that. What about you? What you thinking?
I'm y'all. I need y'all recommendations. This is I'm out of my league right here. I just drink.
Okay, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So I would just tell you to follow along, man. Like the 12 year 1792 is a fresh crack. I just cracked it like yesterday.
Okay.
So it's nothing. I haven't had it open for long, so we can definitely try that out. Actually, it might have been. When was the last time we seen each other? Was it Friday?
I think it was Thursday. Well, Friday.
It was Thursday. It was Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
I opened it last Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And today is Monday.
So this one's definitely a lower proof for us.
Yeah.
91 proof. That's
So
a
we
96
should
proof.
definitely
Yeah,
start
we should
there.
definitely start with this. This has been I don't want to call it a unicorn bottle for me, but up there.
Okay.
That I've been on the search for it, just looking for it, not willing to overpay.
I almost bought it and just couldn't get myself there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me with you because you're not a weeder, or there's not a lot of weeders you like.
And I'm just
And so-
1792 isn't my favorite either.
Right.
But,
No, I
it's
hear you.
pretty good.
I hear you. Well, we're gonna go ahead and crack this bad boy
Let's
open
go.
here, and get us a nice little pour.
Luke, is there anything that you drink on a regular basis that you really enjoy?
I don't know. I've been a tequila guy for a while, and I know this is a bourbon, so
No, this is a spirits podcast.
a spirits podcast.
like,
Well, yeah, I'm into the.
So I brought a tequila.
Oh, then I'm going to try it.
So
Can you pour my serious for me?
I absolutely.
yeah, so I brought some of the bottles that I obtained while
Thank you, sir.
while traveling,
Okay.
and one was a local distillery that makes their own. They can't call it tequila because it's in Kentucky, but it's Kentucky tequila.
Okay.
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 So
Kentucky tequila. That's
that's what I call it.
So it's not often that we have guests on the show, so we may as well cheers while we're all here. Welcome to the podcast, sir. Thank you for
Love it.
jumping in. And
I'm definitely honored to be on the podcast, man.
all right, you don't have to do all of this stuff that we.
Look, man, look.
It's not required. It's not required.
Ooh,
I mean, you also don't have to do all that.
No, yeah, you ain't got to embellish
I mean, here's the thing, man. I want to get the experience.
Okay.
So,
So we take a both nostril sniff, and then try to isolate each nostril.
so quick question.
Sure.
One of my noses is always stuffed up, so I'm gonna have to take one. Like this one's a good one. This one's kind of stuffed up.
I would try it with both still. I would still try it with both because both sides give you something different.
Okay.
So I really enjoy this aroma. I know it's a low proof, but I can smell the wheat. It will not surprise me if you don't like this.
Just doesn't knock the socks off.
I don't think it's meant to. I just don't.
It's pretty flavorful though. I ain't gonna front. But it's. I don't consider it special. Did you taste it?
I did.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
I like it too.
I guess it's.
Do I like it more than some other things I've had? Is like what I always ask myself especially when it comes to. This is a weeder, right?
It is a weeder.
So weeders.
What does that mean?
So it's a wheat bourbon.
Okay, I thought that was where we was going, but I had to make
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's a weeded bourbon, so it's just a higher wheat content.
Wheat content instead of corn being the.
I mean, corn is still the
it's still in
predominant,
it, but
right? So it's still at least 51% corn.
because it's bourbon.
Right.
Mm.
But instead of being say 10% wheat, it might be 20 or 30% wheat.
Okay.
So that's what they consider a weeded bourbon. And then you have wheat whiskeys that don't meet the criteria of bourbon, so they don't have enough corn in it, or they have no corn in it. I mean, they make 100% wheat whiskeys.
Okay.
So, but I really enjoy this bottle. Like, I'm not a fan of 1792 in general. I don't like the bottled in bond. I don't like the small batch. If I recall, I don't really like the 12 year, but I'm fixing to try it and see. Like, there's only two that I actually enjoy, and that's the full proof and the sweet wheat. And the sweet wheat is just difficult to find. It's not crazy impossible, but it is difficult. Yeah. Usually they're in a lottery, that sort of thing. Yeah. I actually found one in the wild when I was on my trip up in Kentucky. Pulled it off the shelf, and then I looked at the price and put it right back.
150,
200.
Oh, wow.
200.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Y'all are out of your mind. That's why they're still here.
Yeah.
Even at 150, I'm out. But again, I did not expect you to really like it all that much anyway.
Funny.
Because it's a weeder.
So, I wanted to try it with a fresh palate.
Same here.
And see what I thought about it. But I'm ready to light my cigar.
Yes.
What about you?
I'm actually going to grab the 12 year and take a sip and then light, because I'm
you
actually
want to try
curious.
12 year first, or you want to keep? Listen, don't get forced into drinking because of us.
I'm a Saturday drinker, so I'm gonna take my time.
It's Monday.
On a Monday.
Yeah,
If it was Saturday, I'm like, I'm just gonna go with it.
But chill, relax, take your time. We don't expect you to be us on a perfect podcast. Like
for sure.
We bounce all over the place.
We go.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to grab a sip of this and just.
Can I at least cut my cigar before?
Absolutely. That's what we're about to do, man.
Because I forgot mine. I brought my lighter, but I just didn't bring my.
Rookie mistake.
And I know, man. That's because I'm sitting at the house chilling, and I just lost track of time. So
that aroma is definitely
different.
You,
so since we're just sitting here and we're tasting, one of the questions I wanted to get to, like, first let's start it off by you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ultimately got into cigars.
Well, first of all, I'm from Maryland, Edgewood, Maryland, right outside of Baltimore. Grew up there, from I believe 8 to 23, and came down to Cleveland, Tennessee to go to school.
Okay.
And I ended up just staying down here. But I it's quiet, clean, quiet place. I like it. It's a nice little place to live and things like that. But
always, man, always. So nice, quiet little place. And I have my cigar is terrible already.
Yeah, I already see that.
Like terrible.
Man, I'm sorry, bro. Like I feel like I'm about to ruin the whole vibe of the show now.
Why? Why is that?
Like, I feel like I'm a little superstitious when it comes out to that.
What you mean?
We recording. You need everything to go perfect.
Oh, shit.
No, but it's a quiet spot, and I like it here. But you got everything around. You want that little big city life, you can go out, Atlanta, Chattanooga, Nashville, stuff in Alabama.
Everything, right?
Yeah, so it's like, and a couple of years ago, I had a buddy that was in a wheelchair. We ended up, starting a podcast, Disability Awareness Podcast, and it's something that I enjoy to do. Something I think that I feel like I'm making an impact in. So I really enjoy doing it. And I took a break. I got burnt out. And last year I went to a place called Podfest in Orlando, Florida. Okay. And it kind of rejuvenated me to get back in the game. And the podcast, I networked, and I got a couple people on my podcast from there, and vice versa. So now I'm nearing 100 episodes on my podcast.
Wow.
So that's a big milestone for me. And I'm pretty proud of myself for sticking with it. And
it's the hardest part.
Yeah, even saying being burnt out, because we all get burnt out. And so how do we combat that? Take a break, or would you just give up and just say, forget it, I'm done?
You definitely take a break and recharge, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that you brought up your podcast and what it's about, disability awareness. Go ahead and tell the people what it's called.
It's called Then Wait.
Yeah.
And I got that And my show, you have to be educated. So I educate people right off the bat with the title.
Okay.
You know, handicap stall, like, it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just for you just to use it.
Right.
It's for a person like me to get in there, have space. I can get in there, use the bathroom. Because there's nothing worse than going to a bathroom and everybody's in a handicap stall.
Yeah.
So now, I know, like, it is what it is at the end of the day, but sometimes I'm have to go bad. So I'm gonna be a little irritated that I gotta wait for you to finish what you're doing.
So that I can get into the stall that was meant
So
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So those things that you don't think about, they're very important to you.
Yeah.
So my show and in my life, I think that I like to educate people without, you know, yelling at people or making people feel small. It's not what it's about. But I just want to educate people.
Absolutely. I love that.
And ultimately just have a conversation that brings value to the world.
I like that. I like that a lot. So with that being said, like, can I ask my first question?
Man, you can ask as many questions you want to.
All right. So now that we understand Luke and what his podcast is about, one of the things I just like to ask is like, uh, have you found it difficult to attend cigar/bourbon events or just events around cigars in general at like different lounges or different places? And what type of challenges does that present for you?
I don't think that it's been challenging. I think when there's a will, there's a way. Um, and I think that because I'm so close to you guys, that if it is a challenge, we're going to all huddle up and see what's the best way to tackle this situation.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily worried about going somewhere where now if it's 100 steps, I'm like I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I want to say
carry me up on his
Yeah,
step.
I'm gonna say burden y'all, but I'm like within reason. I'm not going to, I expect, hey, that's a lot. That's a workout.
Yeah.
But I don't, here, my biggest thing is, and I'm okay with that. I'm very cool with here. I'll go down the road to a laundromat to use the bathroom. It's right there. So, because the bathroom here is too small.
Right.
So within reason, like, and I understand. Being in Cleveland, they have a lot of, some of these old spots.
Very old. Very old buildings, right?
Not handicap accessible. Not understand that. When I go to Scenic City, they got a bathroom in there. I go to the bathroom 15 times because I'm going just because I feel a tinkle. I'm going to that bad boy because I can't.
You can't, right? Like, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think now I would like to go to that bar smoking with y'all.
Yeah.
And I don't know how accessible that is until I really get out there because.
I mean, they have people out there in those off-road style, if you will, wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So I've seen them.
Yeah.
Like I've literally seen them out there in those. I'm calling them off-road because I don't know what else to call them. But
I would also think that you could probably. I would almost assume you could probably rent chairs like that. Right?
I'm sure they're rented.
Yeah, I went on a cruise with my family one year. My mom rented a power chair, so I could be free to move where I want to move.
Okay.
And not have to rely on anybody or feel like not say the word burden, but it's not a burden or feel like they need to watch over. So, and that's just an independence thing too.
Yeah. I know you're super independent, and one of the things that I think is super cool is that you are so independent, and almost to a fault sometimes. But
man, y'all, I mean, if it's not y'all, all of my friends, families, like, yo, you need help, say something.
Right.
But sometimes it's a balance that I don't know how to handle sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like because as a man, you take care of things as a man.
Right.
So I want that experience. I'm not somebody that's just gonna. I don't want to ask for help every time a problem arises.
I understand.
So, but at the same time, I do need to have a balance to say, hey, Duran or Jason, I need help. Can y'all help me out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But in reality, being here, specifically at this lounge, there's not one person I can't call that won't help me out at this lounge, and that's comforting for me. And That's why I keep coming back. It's not about the cigars. It's not about a lot of things. It's like y'all, y'all have accepted me as family, and and I love my family, but it's something about the family that you get to choose.
Absolutely.
You have not lied a bit. Not a bit.
Yeah, it's like
Not a bit.
I love my family, and I can call on them, but I didn't get to choose them. But it don't take away. But y'all, I get to choose y'all as my family, and that's something special.
So that was one of the other things I was going to ask him about is how has smoking cigars with a disability, has it been an inclusive experience or what? But I think he just answered that for us, right? Like, so.
Sounds like it.
Well, it's definitely been an inclusive um, thing for me because I think when we're smoking cigars, I don't, whatever class, race, whatever you are, I feel like we're on an equal playing field when we have a cigar right here.
Right.
I know for me, you guys um, motivate me to be the best version of myself as possible. You know, so I had to change. I changed my friendships with people and things like that. But when I really got involved with y'all, I was like, man, this is a cool group of people. It motivated me to want to do things and to get out of my comfort zone with life.
Right.
And I know that probably answers your question. You probably did more, but I don't know.
No, I like it.
I like the explanation though because like I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to walk on eggshells when they're around someone that's disabled, and you do a great job of not creating that sort of environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of let us in to your world, and you know we can have those joking conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and you know
Jason just told y'all on the low he'd be making fun of guys.
that is not what I said.
That's what he said. That's
I heard
what
it.
I said was we don't have to worry about that kind of thing. You know, we don't have to worry about like offending you.
Yeah, for sure. So, not to cut you off, but with that, I'm all about when people joke with me about being in a wheelchair, have a joke. If it's all in good taste, I'm good. But the second I feel like you've been malicious about it, then I'm gonna have something to say. Because I can joke and I can tell a joke just like any other person.
Yeah, well, your jokes be rough sometimes.
Real rough.
Real rough, like, But we gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone. So let's do some of the things that we normally do on the podcast. Let's talk about this cigar.
Yeah.
Which you want to start with Luke? Luke, you tell us your thoughts on
this is your cigar.
This is your cigar, man. Like so.
Well, what exactly? Because I don't never have to like analyze my cigars like that. So
just tell us what you think about it. Like, I'm not asking you to give me those specific flavors or craziness. Just
with cigars, I really sometimes don't taste them. I taste flavor, but I can't say, "Oh, this tastes like this." Or
Yeah, you can't pick out the flavors.
Right now, like, it's not really like a strong stick. This Kaman's kind of busting up right now.
You've been talking a lot, having to relight. But I see. Look, his is kind of busting out too. That's crazy. That's fun. So, I guess, what drives you to pick this cigar over other cigars?
Good question. Because I'm like, dang, I need to find a cigar. What cigar do I really smoke? Sometimes it's not even about like the flavor. Like it just brings something. It just makes me feel good. Like,
that's a good thing. Cigars are supposed to do that.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. It's like like I said at the beginning. One of the main attractions for me smoking cigars is the price point.
We talk about price all the time.
Yeah, and
like
because y'all know Wes Seepin, I go over there and work and collect money at his music venue. Mm-hmm. So I don't want a super strong stick.
Because you don't want to smell terrible when you walk
Even
up.
that, but if I get a head buzz or whatever like that, like, I'm still relatively new sometimes, so, and I smoke fast sometimes.
Yeah.
So this, I can, smoke on that and I still feel good in the head. I'm like, I don't feel dizzy or things like that. So like, okay. I'm still going over there to work. So I want to stick where I can enjoy it, but not feel dizzy.
Do you tend to lean towards the larger ring gauge, or is this just because they have other sizes that I think are a similar blend?
I do like Lancero. I I do feel like sometimes I get a little bit more flavor and a little bit more Lancero sometimes.
Yeah.
But it just depends on the Lancero. But when I'm out, I like a bigger ring gauge sometimes because I can just chill and just smoke. Like one thing about Lanceros that I don't like is I just say that I'm a.
It's work.
It is.
I am not a Lancero guy just for that reason.
It is, but here's the thing. I just told y'all that I smoke fast sometimes.
And Lanceros don't like that.
Yeah. So and I'm not thinking sometimes.
You just burn through.
I'm burning through it sometimes, and I have to like catch myself. It's like, Lanceros, you really I gotta put it down and talk and things like that. But then I gotta relight it. But I love them
for the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the ease of the smoke is where you like the larger ring gauge.
Yeah.
Like the experience is just an easier experience.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, I say different situations. Usually I'm in a situation where if I'm going over there or we go somewhere we want to smoke and enjoy ourselves, I'm going to get something like this because I can put it down and I might not have to light it back up. And I don't know.
Okay.
I should have picked the New World. I love New World, the line. That's like one of my favorite. New World's like my favorite line.
We love New World.
The AJ Fernandez probably.
The Cameroon is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Like,
I had one last night.
$10 stick.
I had one last night.
And you put me on to him.
Yeah.
To go on Cigar Page
right.
and things like that. And,
yeah, you get it for a hell of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I
probably didn't answer y'all question because I get to talking and I get off topic.
No, you wasn't off topic. Like you was exactly where you're supposed to be, man. Like this.
But I like it. I don't taste a lot of. Right now, I don't taste a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm talking and not really.
No, I don't think it's like for me personally. It's not super flavorful. It's kind of.
It's not.
It's kind of one dimensional.
It is kind of one dimensional. So after having this, I'm thinking they're not the same blend.
Okay.
The Torcedores and the A, and I think there's another one, smaller one. I'm going to say they're not the same blend, but I need to go look that up because I did enjoy the orange band one. But I'm with you. It's kind of one dimensional. I don't like the size. I'm not a fan of the Gordo.
It's a bigger ring gauge than what I. You know.
So what y'all? What ring gauge do y'all like?
This is probably like a 60, right?
Yeah, it's a 6x60.
This is a 60. I'm more like a 54.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's like ideal. Which there's nothing wrong with this. I ain't gonna front. Like it's just if I'm gonna smoke a cigar with this ring gauge, like it's got to be flavorful. It's got to be like.
And that's the thing. They tend to not be.
They tend to not be flavorful.
They tend to be powerhouses.
Yeah, they just strong, and this one don't have that. So, for me, I think the thing is like, it's just not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not strong enough, not complex enough. I don't think it's a bad cigar at all. It's just I like stronger.
So let me ask this: I've been smoked for 2 years,
mm-hmm.
So obviously my palate
is very different.
It's very different. So, if you was in your first 2 or 3 years, how would you feel about that steak? Or
I don't think so. I think first 2 or 3 years, you jumped in the deep end.
So that was going to say, it depends on how you are in that journey, right? Yeah. You had mentors, you had people that
you had people
confided in, you had people that gave you stuff that was, I'm going to say, well beyond your smoking years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things. Like you got to experience stuff that, like me, I did my cigar journey pretty much on my own until I met these guys. But at that point, I've been smoking for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I had to just try stuff out on my own. So for me, there's no way I would have enjoyed this at 2 years. It would have been too strong. You know, not enough flavor. I was smoking mostly medium-bodied cigars. Mm-hmm. You know,
so you think this would have been too strong?
I think this would have been too strong. Yeah, early on.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I think so.
I guess because my journey has been a little different.
Yeah, you jumped into the deep end with a group of people that smoke. Like we smoke for real. So I think here's the truth, right? Like if price went out the window, you would never smoke this cigar.
If what?
If price went out the window, like if you had an unlimited amount of money, you would never smoke this.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the thing, right?
That's not a debate.
So that's the thing, right? So like everything that we do is based on like where I am. Like, so even today, I still don't always smoke like crazy expensive cigars. Like you just said, the New World is one of my favorite cigars as well. So I would still smoke a New World over this.
Yes.
And I did go away because I smoked a lot of New Worlds starting off.
Yeah.
and then I went away from it, but then I went back to it.
It's just a good stick.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to beat, dude. Like they've
And
just
then-
done a really good job with it. I'm not saying they haven't done a good job with this. It's just it's very one dimensional.
Yeah.
For me, when I have a what I would like to call at least a seasoned palate, right? Like, so I can tell the difference between something that I really really like versus something that's just a cigar. For me, this is just a cigar.
I agree.
Just something that I'm smoking to smoke.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, there's a lot of other sticks that I prefer over that. Or be like, oh, this is good. Oh man, this is good. My first favorite stick was Murcielago.
That's a great cigar.
Now I think it smokes better than this one, but it's just I just enjoy it, like for what my price range is. Like I said, for what my price range is, and
right,
and not even sometimes the cigar isn't even. I care more about the socialized.
Yeah, the experience that comes with.
Yeah, so sometimes if it's just that, I don't really care unless it's like I don't even gonna say the name.
Yeah, don't be blasting no cigars.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I started to say it, but I was like, now there's some sticks that I'm not gonna smoke, no matter what. But like here, it's a stick it'll last me about an hour. I'm gonna enjoy my company, and it's not really terrible.
No, I don't think it's terrible by any means.
But I do feel like there's another one in there that's probably better than this one.
Yeah. I mean, so I think that's what goes without saying. There's always a cigar that's better than another, right? Like you can go to the top end, and there's very few that I can find that I'm like, oh, there's nothing better than that, right?
Right.
Like, and honestly, what comes to mind right now is nothing that I haven't had something that's better than it. The only one I can think of that like we constantly talk about is the CAO Amazon Basin Extra.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the most well-rounded, biggest bang for your buck type thing.
Right. And I think that's why when you hear people talking about what's your favorite cigar, it's not just what's the best cigar on the market, period.
Right.
It's what's their favorite cigar as far, and which means that price and availability enter into the mix.
Picture for sure.
They
Absolutely.
have to, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that we would all like to say that the Amazon Basin Extra Añejo is our favorite cigar, but the fact is it's not available.
No, you can't find it.
You cannot find it. So, it bumps it down the list simply on availability.
Yep.
And it's the only thing that bumps it down on the list because it's a great price.
Yeah.
They get $14, when they're available. And, that's why I usually tell people that the UC10 is my favorite cigar.
Yep.
Because it's affordable.
Normally my go-to.
It's available everywhere you go, and so it's just, and it's a great cigar.
I like the UC10 too as well.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but I do think if you ask me in 3 months what my favorite cigar would be, or it'll rotate to something else. Though.
I mean, I don't have a favorite cigar. I like when somebody asks me to name something that I smoke on a regular, it'd be the UC10, right? Like, but a favorite cigar, it's just, it's too hard to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Way too hard to do.
yeah, I think we've done this. Had this conversation on the podcast before, where we did like a top five or something.
So I want to say like we did that. Was it from the cigars that we smoked on the podcast?
Is that what it was?
I think it was like we put them in order based on
you're
what
right.
we smoked on the podcast.
Yes, yes,
So-
yes, it was. Yeah, we went through everything we had smoked. I think that was the first year we had done the podcast.
Yeah.
So, can I ask y'all a question?
Absolutely.
How long y'all been doing this podcast?
What, a little over a year and a
at
half?
this point, I think.
Like, so knowledge has got, you do research and stuff like that. How much have you gained, knowledge have you gained with bourbon and cigars? Even more than what you think was before.
I wouldn't say that my knowledge has increased, like because our group is constantly doing things with cigars and bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So the podcast was just an extension of that. What I would say is I've tried a lot more different cigars and bourbons because of the podcast specifically. I find myself going, oh, we've never done this on the podcast, or I've never seen it, so let me buy it to do it on the podcast.
Yep.
But as far as the knowledge goes, like Jason will tell you, like Jason is my guy for like just, I don't want to say useless knowledge because it's not useless, but like Jason know more about shit that people don't know shit about than people that know shit know shit.
Why would you even know that?
like sometimes I'm like,
Like,
why do you know that? Like,
I don't know. I'm like
weird.
a sponge, man. I find stuff interesting, and I go down rabbit holes all the time, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I do. Like,
so
but this is a brand that I'm unfamiliar with. Usually, I know something about at least the brand.
Yeah.
Well, I did my job at least. Give y'all a cigar that y'all didn't really know too much about, so y'all have an honest opinion about it.
So I got to go look it up, and see what it's all about.
But that was one of the things I said. I was like, smoking this cigar, I'm going to be able to give you a raw and uncut opinion on it, like, because I haven't had it. So I would tell you this: it's not one of my favorites. Like,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's
not a bad cigar.
I don't think so.
If somebody gave this to me,
I would absolutely
smoke it,
and I'd be happy about smoking.
Right? But I would likely not buy this cigar, right? Personally. So that's where I'm at.
That's me. I don't disagree.
Hey, I'm about to leave the podcast now, man. Y'all.
What you talking about? Listen, so that one of the beauties of cigar culture is you're able to have a difference of opinion.
Absolutely.
Your palate is your palate. My palate is my palate. Jason's palate is Jason's palate. You may absolutely love a cigar, and I despise it.
Yeah.
And there are bourbons that he loves that I'm just like, I'm not drinking that.
And same the other way around.
Yeah, so there's just things. So the beauty is
I like the sweet wheat.
Yeah.
Like I really like it.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna have to put that in the back of my shelf.
See, and it would never get touched.
But this 12-year, like I don't even not like it. I really don't like it.
Yeah. So I
haven't even went back to it.
It's okay
because I don't know. Like you probably didn't see my face when I took that first sip.
I did.
But I was like, ooh,
it's
okay. That's 1792,
it's
man.
Okay. But there's a million great things on the table that you can follow it up with.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I know it's your podcast, but I'll give my podcast mode. Don't put it on me. How was your experience with me? Like, how do you, now that you know somebody in a wheelchair, or did you know anybody in a wheelchair before you knew?
I did. I knew someone in a wheelchair, but not as in depth as I know you. I think when we got to know each other, it made me realize how inconvenient this world can be for you. And that's one of the things we talked about, right? Like, just how hard it is for you to get around sometimes, like, bathroom access, just all kinds of access in general, right? Like, especially in a town that's as old as this one is, that gave no thought to accessibility, right? And more than one way. Right, like we won't get into that. Like we ain't even gonna get started on that. But so for me, like I think it opened my eyes to the real world challenges, right? And it made me realize that like even though I have my own things going on, like because I have a immune deficiency, I'm blind in one eye. I got my own shit. Like I still, in comparison, my disability doesn't compare to you, and they don't have to. That what I'm saying, right? But as far as what you have to go through on a daily basis makes me not even consider what I have to go. Just because, like, I would hate to know that, like, there's certain places I just can't go because of. Right? Or because, I have to wait on someone to take me there or do something. Right? Yeah. So I think it's opened my eyes to be more compassionate, more empathetic. Because I don't feel sorry for you. I don't want you to think.
I don't need you to feel sorry.
Yeah, right. Like I don't feel sorry for you with nothing like that. Like you ain't no different than me. Get it done. Like like seriously. And that's that's a real world conversation we've had, right?
And that's why I always, I always come to you with ideas and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I know you're gonna give it to me straight. And if I'm not on my P's and Q's, you're gonna tell me about it.
Yeah, I don't think your wheelchair keeps you from doing anything that you need to be doing. I'm just being honest. Like so there are a lot of people that. I'm gonna probably get some flack for this, but they use disabilities as an excuse not to get stuff done. Right? I understand that, but also at the same time, if you allow things to defeat you,
right, and it's all about your attitude.
Then you're always going to be defeated.
Right.
So there's always hurdles and barriers, and yes, each one of them is going to be harder and harder and harder. Right. But the thing I love about you is those hurdles, those barriers, they don't stop you from trying to succeed and get things done. So it was an eye opener for me to meet you and get to know you and be able to look at you as an inspiration as well, right? The same way you may be inspired by us, don't get it twisted. Be inspired by you. get up every day and get it done, regardless of your circumstances.
Right.
So that's cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I didn't really know anybody that was in a wheelchair. Certainly not at the level that I know you. And I mean, a lot of I can repeat a lot of what what Duran just said, but I think for me, it was more kind of getting an eye opener around like there's never not a struggle, right? I mean, even the simple stuff that we take for granted, like taking a step down off the step, going through a door, a threshold, but it's got a lip like this big. For him,
that's a challenge.
That's a challenge. Like it could be impassable for him. But at the same time, like you said, his attitude is never giving up, right? But at the same time, acknowledging that there are certain limitations, right, and that there's not really anything that he can do about it, and not moan and whine and complain about it and be in a bad attitude about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like accept what is and not what's not, and change the things that you can.
Don't dwell on the things that you can't.
Right, and go through life with a positive attitude, and I think that's so important. Like I share that with my team at work all the time. Like no matter what's going on in your life, you got to try to stay positive because once you get into that negative space, like it's going to do more than screw with your head.
Absolutely,
it can actually mess with your entire physical health. And you've already got problems with your physical health. You don't need anything to compound that, right? So, like, I think it's amazing that you're able to keep that positive attitude. And I think by doing that, you can inspire people, disabled or not, to also keep that positive attitude.
Absolutely.
I like that. Well, I desire for everybody to be happy in life, man, and at peace. That's my big things is when I wake up and I pray, I just want happiness and peace. You have those two things. It doesn't matter what happens in life. Your peace you can deal with. We've got obstacles, but let's figure out how to do this.
Right.
And when we do it, we're good. So next time we come around, we know how to handle it. But I'm sorry to interrupt y'all. I'm probably gonna get one more, and I'm gonna cut myself off because I'm not a weekday drinker.
But then what we're gonna do is you're gonna hold it. So we're gonna do. I want to say we're at time.
We're definitely we're right at 30 minutes or so.
So I say what we do is we take a break and then we come back and do part 2 with Luke.
That's fine with me.
So let's give our final thoughts on where we at on like this cigar and this bourbon and all that good stuff.
All right. So I mean the cigar. I feel like we've done our final thoughts already. Like it's an average cigar. The fact that it's like $10 really helps it. So the expectations aren't crazy high. I don't think they could charge any more for it.
No.
Like, I think it's one of those things that they're charging as much as they could. It's like you say, it's one flavor note, and not even a lot of it. Not a lot of strength either, which I appreciate because there's not a lot of flavor either. On the pours, I really enjoy the sweet wheat. Like I know it's only a 90 proofer, and we're like high proofers, but it's one of the few low proof pours that I just really enjoy. But not the 12-year. Like I don't like it at all. Like I could, like memory served correct.
Okay.
So I'm like I'm not gonna like this, but I'm gonna try it anyway just to make sure.
I got you.
And then for Luke, we got this tequila that I think he wants to try here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, how about you, man?
So for me, the cigar, as you said, we've given our final thoughts. It's okay cigar for the price point. Not gonna wow you. Not gonna hurt you either, right? Like so that's a good thing. As far as sweet wheat, ain't my cup of tea. As far as the 12-year, ain't my cup of tea.
You like the foolproof though, right?
I do like the foolproof. It's okay. Hey, 1792. Send me something I might like, man. Like foolproof, okay. I don't find any of this. Again, I've said this multiple times. 1792 is not my thing. I don't know what it is about it. It's just not for me. I'm not a huge fan. Luke, you got anything you want to add on the cigar or the bourbon that you had?
Well, I disagree with y'all. I like the cigar.
That's exactly it. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I like the cigar. I mean, I don't disagree with y'all saying. But like I said, I think it's situational, more situational. And I mean, pretty much everything y'all say is true. But like I said, I like it. I think it's a good stick.
Yeah.
I continue wasting my $10 on it, and
I don't think it's a waste. We didn't say that.
Hey.
We didn't say that. I didn't say it was a waste.
You didn't say it. That's what I heard.
I said it's not for me, but I'm enjoying the cigar
He said
because
you're not going to be hurt.
Yeah,
That's
not
what he
gonna be
said.
hurt,
My feelings is hurt right now. I'm joking.
I'm enjoying the cigar because it's a cigar you enjoy, and I'm enjoying it with friends.
Yeah, for sure. No,
that
I
makes
do
it
enjoy it. Are there better sticks that would like a bit more flavorful? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like where I could just sit and chill, it's not terrible.
I haven't thrown it out. We've
I
thrown
was just
cigars
fixing
out.
to say,
We've thrown cigars out.
Like, I don't want to put this down.
Oh,
we've
so
thrown stuff out.
I guess that's what's the worst you can say is no.
Yeah.
I could throw it out if I really wanted to.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's okay.
Yeah, it's an
It's
okay
okay.
cigar. It's an average cigar.
And I learned, so like when I first started smoking, I would listen to y'all, talk about sticks. And I'm like, I wouldn't try other sticks because sometimes y'all may like it, but I'd say, hey, their palate is different from my palate.
Absolutely.
And what they like, I may not like, and vice versa. So, and I had to get my own opinion about things. So it was just like,
I agree. We shouldn't. How I feel about a cigar and how he feels about a cigar should have no bearing on what you think about a cigar.
So, and that's what it is. I'm just joking. Yeah. I'm still gonna smoke my stick and things like that. So,
what about the drink? How was that for you?
It was a little bit too sweet for me personally. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was a little bit too sweet. I like the flavor, but not like the sweetest flavor of it.
Okay.
So
That
and that's my honest opinion about a drink, because I could probably taste a little bit more of the flavors and stuff than cigars sometimes. But,
yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
I did like the smell. The smell was very comforting.
That's a good one. The smell was comforting.
I like that.
All
right. Well,
good
wrap it
thing.
up. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, y'all know what it is. It's another episode of High Proof Ashes. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell so that you get notifications when we drop new content. I am Duran. That's our guest, Luke. And to my right, which is weird, my co-host.
You almost messed it up.
I did.
I'm chasing JB Smoke, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Put some smoke in the air.